Hi everyone, my name is Junon. I have a health science background and I'm the author of the book Truth and Empathy, How to Find Your Soulmate. And I'll put a link to the book below. This video is the MBTI personality type assessment of Johnny Depp. Again, when it comes to the 16 MBTI personality types, they can be grouped into four main ones. The first one are sensor judgers, the second sensor perceivers, the third intuitive thinkers, and the last one intuitive feelers. To me, Johnny Depp comes across as a sensor perceiver, and I will explain why. Again, I have some notes on screen so I don't miss anything. John Christopher Depp II was born on June the 9th, 1963 in Owensboro, Kentucky. He is now 58 years old. His mother was a waitress and his father a civil engineer. He is the youngest of four children and the family moved frequently during his childhood. He received a guitar from his mother when he was 12 years old and began playing in various bands. His parents divorced in 1978 when he was only 15 years old, and his mother remarried, and he called his stepfather an inspiration, so he got on well with his new father. He dropped out of Miramar High School when he was 16 years old in 1979 to become a rock musician. He attempted to go back to school 2 weeks later, but the principal told him to follow his dream of becoming a musician. In 1980, Depp began playing guitar in a band called The Kids. After modest local success in Florida, the band moved to Los Angeles in pursuit of a record deal, changing their name to Six Gun Method. In addition to the band, Depp worked a variety of odd jobs such as in telemarketing. In December 1983, Depp married makeup artist Lori Ann Allison, but they divorced only 2 years later in 1985. Depp made his debut in the horror film A Nightmare in Elm Street in 1984. He rose to prominence as a teen idol on the television series 21 Jump Street from 1987 to 1990. And in the 1990s, his films and public persona were anti-macho and gender-bending, going against the conventions of a Hollywood leading man. In the 1990s, Depp acted mostly in independent films, often playing eccentric characters. For example, What's Eating Gilbert Grape, Benny and June, Dead Man, Donnie Brasco, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Depp also began collaborating with director Tim Burton. It seems to be like his muse. He starred in Edward Scissorhands in 1990, Ed Wood, and Sleepy Hollow. In the 2000s, Depp became one of the most commercial successful film stars by playing Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean. He received critical praise for Finding Neverland. He continues commercial successful collaboration with Tim Burton with films such as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Corpse Bride, Sweeney Todd, and Alice in Wonderland. In 2012, Depp was one of the world's biggest film stars and was listed by the Guinness World Record as the world's highest paid actor with earnings of 75 million US dollars. During the 2010s, Depp produced films through his company Infinitum Nihil. Depp co-owned the nightclub The Viper Room in Los Angeles from 1993 to 2003 and the restaurant bar Man Ray in Paris. He has struggled with alcoholism and addiction for most of his life. He has stated that by the age of 14, he has used every kind of drug there were. In the late 1980s, he was engaged to actresses Jennifer Grey and Sherilyn Fenn before proposing in 1990 to co-star Winona Ryder. From 1994 to 1997, he was in a relationship with English model Kate Moss. Then he was in a relationship with French actress and singer Vanessa Paradis. They had 2 children together, a daughter Lily Rose and son John Christopher. Depp stated that having children has given him a real foundation. If we look at Johnny Depp's life, it is typical of sensor perceiver in the sense that at an early age he was interested in music, so he started playing in a band, then became an actor. After that, he was interested in business, producing movies. So these are areas of interest of sensor perceivers, and they usually start young. So to be able to do that, they usually don't pursue higher education. So in the case of Johnny Depp, he dropped out of school when he was 16 years old. And when actually you look at even the movies that he, it was interesting to see that he liked to expand and try different things. So these are creative people. He likes eccentric roles, and he's also goes against the grain. So he's not the type of person who likes to do things like most people. Even how the way he dresses. So you see that he doesn't have the three-piece suit. This is someone who likes to put his hair in different lengths and try different haircuts. And also you'll see that he has tattoos. So this is typical of sensor perceivers. So whether or not John Depp is a masculine versus feminine energy, I would say that John Depp comes across as a feminine energy. So he is a rather laid back, soft spoken. He's not the confrontational type. So that is kind of odd when we hear about the stories between him and Amber Heard. So it's kind of out of character. Because he's a sensor perceiver and he's a feminine energy, it means that he has introvert feeling in his first or second function stack, and he makes decisions based on his own ethics and own morals. So he is interested in being as authentic as possible. So that's why when you even look at his choice of movie roles, they tend to be eccentric. They go against the grain of being like the macho leading man, in terms of Hollywood, how it's portrayed normally. So this is something that you'll see more people who have femininity and who are sensor perceivers. The other aspect is whether Johnny Depp is an introvert versus extrovert. I would lean more being an introvert. So he's not someone who comes alive when you put the spotlight on him. So even in interviews, he seems rather sort of distant. He's someone who doesn't even like to watch his own movies. Actually, he said he doesn't do that. He just, obviously plays the role and then, lets others watch his movies. And also the fact that he went to France and sort of isolated himself when he was with Vincent Pansy to raise his children. So he doesn't like to be in the limelight. So he's probably someone who gets energized by spending time with maybe one person or being alone. The other aspect also is that the fact that his movie roles tend to be androgynous. So that again leads to someone who's more of an artist. So when you look at the MBTI personality type, the ESFP are the entertainers, the performers, whereas the ISFPs are the artists. So the artist likes to just work on his craft and doesn't need as much recognition. So it's good to have that, but it's not something that's a driving force for the introverted sensor perceiver with a feminine energy. So based on this information, I would say that Johnny Depp is an ISFP. To summarize, when we look at Johnny Depp's life, it is typical of sensor perceiver in the sense that they are the entertainers. So these are people who are interested in music, in acting, in entrepreneurship. These people who are going to open a business or produce movies for themselves and others. The other aspect also is that Johnny Depp comes across as a feminine energy. So he's someone who tends to be softer, gentler. This is someone who is not the confrontational type. And also I would say that he comes across very much as someone who doesn't like the limelight. So he's most likely an introvert. So for all these reasons, I would say that Johnny Depp is most likely an ISFP. So let me know by commenting below if you agree or disagree with this assessment. If you enjoyed this video, please click on the like button, subscribe to my channel, and we will talk soon.